Every day on There's No Taste Like Home, Chef Gino D'Acampo will take 3 family cooks and the recipes that have been passed down through their families from generation to generation, out of the home and into a professional kitchen.
Off you go, and good luck!
Together, they'll serve up their treasured dishes to paying customers, and the winning dish, judged by Gino,
Yay!
will be added to the restaurant's menu for a month.
Welcome to a professional kitchen.
To prove
That there is no taste like home.
on today's show, a traditional Caribbean meal often known as Jamaica's coat of arms.
There's something about Caribbean food that just hits the spot. And on a Sunday, it would always be rice and peas and chicken.
An ancient black country stew that uses one of the oldest ingredients known to man.
We used to have a bonfire. People would come around from the street and we'd have, family and neighbours and friends. And they'd all come around and we'd be eating this grauty pudding. And that's really, my first memory, I think.
And a fish curry brought to the UK by migrant workers, rebuilding Britain after World War II.
This is an ancient Bangladeshi dish. It's been in my family for 4, 5, 6 generations, and we still prepare it in the same way that we would in Bangladesh.
Hello, I'm Gino D'Acampo, and today I'm in Birmingham. The West Midlands played a key role in the Industrial Revolution, and of course food had a major part of this county's heritage. Thai food tea, bird's custard, Cadbury chocolate, and the Baltic curry, they were all born here. I've searched the county to find 3 locals with diverse recipes that have been in their families for generations. And right here in this city center restaurant, they're gonna cook their meals for paying diners for the first time ever. By the end of lunch, one of them will have the chance to have their dish added to this restaurant menu for 1 month. So now I'm off to the kitchen to meet my yummy Brahmis and prove once again that there's no taste like home.
Let's meet today's cooks. Carl Douglas is making Mum Jessie's rice and peas and chicken served with salad. Marjorie Jevons is making Grandma Anna Kazia's grauty dick, served with homemade bread. Aftab Rahman is cooking Grandma Meraz's lei fata chutney or mackerel curry served with rice.
So guys, what do you think about the kitchen?
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a professional kitchen before?
No.
Okay? So what I want you to do, everybody goes to their position and let's get cooking. Right, come on guys, come on, come on, come on.
Time to find out how our first dish is cooked at home. Father of 2, Carl Douglas is a 47-year-old customer services employee from Birmingham, here with son Jermaine. On his menu today is a Jamaican classic, his mum Jessie's rice and peas and chicken. Carl's grandparents kept their own chickens, meaning this traditional island dish would be served every Sunday after visiting church without fail.
Now, this is how I make my mum's rice and peas and chicken. On a Sunday, you'd have your chicken, rice and peas, and normally there'd be a pudding for the only time in the week there'd be a pudding as well. So it sort of gets that feeling across that, you're gonna have a nice, tasty meal. There's something, a little bit special, about rice and peas and chicken. I was probably 17, 18 when I first started experimenting with this kind of food, although the first Caribbean food that I cooked would have been fried dumpling at probably the age of about 7 or 8. Now what I'm going to do here is that Mum would use gunga peas or black-eyed peas, and my preference is cowpeas. So I'm going to do one with gunga peas and one with cowpeas. It's going to take the same time for each. The peas have soaked overnight. Time to rinse those, throw those in. And these are the cowpeas which I'm now going to rinse. And as you can see, we're bubbling away nicely. And now it's time for the chicken. So this is my magic box here. Black pepper and just a sprinkling of all-purpose. Some chicken seasoning, some chili powder, and finally, salt. And then, this is when you get your hands dirty. And this is something that I would remember Mum doing and thinking, oh, how disgusting. And now I'm going to slice up some more onion, garlic, some peppers, and place that in the bottom of the tray. This is what's going to give, you know, some extra flavour to the meat. The famous Scotch bonnet. So now I'm going to sit the chicken on top. See you later. Once the peas are cooked, I add cream coconut to the peas. And while that's melting, wash the rice, season the peas with a bit of salt, add the rice to the peas, bring that to a simmer, and in 20 minutes, it'll be ready. What you're trying to get is what's called shelly, so that each individual grain is loose, but fat, plump, but doesn't stick together. Chicken's now cooked, and it's time to get the gravy on. I'm going to sieve the liquor. I'm going to add some tomato puree and a little corn flour to thicken. Going to plate up now for my dad just to give me the thumbs up.
He look happy. Boy, he's wicked, man. He's wicked with it.
So that's Carl's mum, Jessie's rice and peas and chicken. Now let's find out more about this Caribbean classic.
Carl, come on, man. Tell me everything I should know about your dish.
Right, well, I suppose it's something that's been in my family all my life. Back in the early 60s, that'd have been 1961, 62, something like that. My mum, who came from a mining village in Scotland, a white lady, met my dad, a Jamaican, in London. And of course, my father was used to his Caribbean food. And she learned off his cousins and, you know, their wives how to prepare the dish. And it's something I've grown up with all my life. So, you know, rice and peas and chicken. You know, I've been fortunate to know some Scottish dishes as well, but, you know, there's something about Caribbean food that just hits the spot. And on a Sunday, it would always be rice and peas and chicken. My mum, Jessie, was a traditional woman, just like my dad was a traditional man. And knowing that my father would really enjoy his Caribbean cooking, she went to the effort of learning how to do that. And it's something that she did, and you wouldn't even notice that this was not something she was brought up on. It was almost like she was born to do it. So I think I first started cooking or getting interested in cooking 5, 6 years old, because Mum would do this every Sunday. So after breakfast and certain other things, you'd come into the kitchen and she'd be there preparing the chicken and, you know, cleaning it up and getting ready to season and then frying it in the Dutch pots. And back in those days, when you bought a chicken, it had the giblets inside.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so that'd be the heart and the kidney and the gizzard and whatever. So while she was there preparing it, she'd be browning those, and they would be cooked very quickly. So while we're waiting for the rest of the dinner to cook, that would be like a little snack, you know, to keep you going until lunchtime. My dad, Lloyd, is a very interesting character. He grew up in an area of Jamaica called Westmoreland. The stories he tells me is having to get up in the morning and go and milk the cow and feed the chickens and collect water and various things like that. So food is something that's very important, and it's something that you leave out of the house and you go into the garden and you pick fresh fruit. So he's very passionate about fresh food. He's 84 now.
84?
84
See,
years
that's
old.
been, you know, Caribbean food is the way forward.
Well, he would say that fresh vegetables and, you know, good food, you know, and probably a little bit of whiskey every now and again, you know, keeps you happy.
What would it mean to you and to your family to win today's competition and have this dish on a restaurant menu where everybody can come and enjoy?
I think for me, it will just prove that cooking is something that's done with the heart. And I'm able to pass this on. And now my daughter, who's 25, she now cooks her rice and peas on a Sunday for herself. So I think she'll be very proud, you know, to know that I've kept up with it and I've embraced it. And I also remember where I got it from. So I think she'll be very proud.
It's the start of preparation for Carl, and he's hoping that his efforts today will be enough to win hearts and introduce the taste of the Caribbean to a new crowd of Midland diners.
Having my mum's dish here in the middle of Birmingham would be absolutely great. You know, Caribbean food is something that I don't think has quite had the exposure that it deserves. Everybody I know enjoys some form of Caribbean cooking, and it'll be a chance to try and get it on the mainstream market.
What a fantastic way to start our Birmingham show, a dish with plenty of history behind. But don't go anywhere, because after the break, I have more story to tell you.
Coming up, 2 delicious dishes. One, a traditional black country stew that boasts ingredients enjoyed for thousands of years. The other, a spicy fish curry that brings the taste of Bengal to Birmingham.
Where are my curries?
And one chef commits a kitchen cardinal sin.
I'm a bit annoyed because he should have let me know. Welcome back to There's No Taste Like Home, where today I'm in Birmingham, in the West Midlands. I've searched the county to find home cooks with delicious dishes and incredible stories. They may be amateurs, but today they're gonna cook their dishes here in a professional kitchen, and I'm sure they're gonna do a good job. So let's find out how our next cook is gonna make the dish at home.
58-year-old married mother of 4 Marjorie Jevons is an assistant dean at the University of Birmingham, here with daughter Amy and granddaughters Savannah and Jasmine. Her dish is a classic black country stew, Grandma Anna Kazia's Grauty Dick. This regional stew contains one of the oldest ingredients known to man, groats, oats with the husks removed.
The first thing that you have to do when you make Grauty Dick is to get your groats, and you have to soak them overnight in water to make them nice and soft before you can use them. Grauty Dick I don't think is particularly popular, but I think it's a dish really that's something that's come through as a black country tradition. For this dish, I need to take 2 onions. The next ingredient is carrots. Next, you take a parsnip. There are very few vegetables in this dish, but they all add toward the taste. You make cubes of the parsnips. I put olive oil in both pans, and then I'm going to fry the onions. I'm just softening them. I'm adding the carrots, and then I'm adding in the parsnips, adding the last few there, and then making sure that just like the carrots and the onions, they're nicely coated with the oil. Then add the meat. I use shin of beef when I'm cooking Grauty Dick that have been specifically cubed to a certain size because I like them as bite-sized pieces. Because what you're looking to do here at the minute is to seal the meat itself. So I'm going to put the chopped tomatoes in the meat itself, but it's rather reddish because of the tomatoes themselves. So I then add a stock cube. I then take a really strong beef stock pot and add that. I'm going to add salt, then black pepper. I add then Worcestershire sauce to it, again because it's something that I like to use when I'm making this particular dish, because it adds to the intensity of the flavour. Just a dash of Tabasco, some smoked paprika. The aromas, when you start to bubble it up, are absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to add all the vegetables into it. So we'll take all of those out of there, and then I'm going to place the oats into that. I'm going to combine them in with the meat and the vegetables. And it's nicely sizzling when it goes in, so I know that the slow cooker is really nice and warm. I'm going to put the top back on. I can now leave it for 2 or 3 hours, or however long I want to, until people are then ready to eat. Right, now it's time to serve up.
So that's Marjorie's Grandma Anna Kazia's Grauty Dick, served with homemade bread. Let's find out more about this ancient dish.
So Marge, what should I know about your dish? Why have you brought your dish here? Why is it so important to you and to your family?
Well, this particular dish was started first of all by my grandmother, whose name was Keziah, which is really quite an unusual name, but a very black country name, because that's where I actually come from, is the black country. And my grandmother Keziah cooked it in the 1920s to 30s, and then my mother also liked the dish. My mother is Mary, and she liked the dish, and she continued cooking it. Well, unfortunately, my grandmother died in around about 1950, but she was, a really strong black country woman, and I think from what my mother tells me, I'm also a bit like her.
Bossy,
Bossy,
we say.
yeah, I'm a bit
In Italian,
bossy
we
at
say
times.
bossy. That's
Yeah,
what we say.
I'm a bit bossy sometimes. Yeah. The memory that I have is of bonfire nights at home, because we used to have a bonfire. People come around from the street, and we'd have, family and neighbours and friends, and they'd all come around and we'd be eating this grorty pudding, and that's really, my first memory, I think, of the dish itself is around a bonfire at home.
So what are you hoping to achieve today by cooking this beautiful dish? Everybody's gonna taste it. I'm sure they're gonna love it.
5 generations of my family now have eaten this dish, and I'm going to make sure that this dish carries on for the next 5 generations. And I'd really like to make sure that my grandmother Keziah, my grandfather Josiah, my mother Mary, my father Sidney really are pleased that this particular dish is being brought forward in a restaurant, in a professional kitchen, because I think everyone will be absolutely amazed that this was happening today.
Marjorie is off to a flying start, and already the pan is full of tasty local ingredients. But it's critical that she gets the amount of water just right.
I'm adding quite a bit of water to it, and I'll have to add more water as the morning goes on, because the groats, even though they've been soaking overnight, they do tend to continue to soak up the liquid. So I'm going to have to make sure as the morning goes on that I don't leave this. I keep coming back to it and keep stirring it and tasting it, just to make sure that it's the right flavour and consistency.
Cooking their recipes for the first time in a restaurant kitchen will be a big challenge for our 3 cooks. Gino will have a hard decision to make, as all 3 are determined that their dish will win the sought-after prize of being on this restaurant's menu for a month. Earlier, we met Carl Douglas, who is making his mum Jessie's rice, peas and chicken. And Marjorie Jevons, who is cooking her grandma Keziah's grorty dick, served with homemade bread.
So far, we had 2 magical stories, but it's time now to meet our next cook and find out how they make their dish at home.
40-year-old charity worker Aftab Rahman is a married father with 2 daughters from the West Midlands, here today with Maya. His dish hails all the way from Bangladesh. Grandma Meraz's lay fata chutney, or mackerel curry, served with rice. This ancient dish is perfectly summed up by a popular local phrase, fish and rice make a Bengali. And as 80% of the region is often covered by water, it's an environment that ensures an abundance of both.
This is how I make Grandma Meraz's lay fata chutney. It's a traditional dish that comes from Bangladesh, but I've adapted it for the UK, and it's lovely. You'll really enjoy it. First thing I'm going to do is spice the fish with turmeric and salt. Just gonna add a splash of oil to that. Leave that for a while. While that cooks, I'm going to start cutting the onions and preparing the mustard leaves. I'm just washing them. These are grown fresh in my mum's garden, so it's really, really organic and very healthy, very good for you. Okay, so I'm going to leave that for a few minutes just to drain. Break off a few garlic. That's my garlic done. I'm going to blow them away with my Grandma Meraz's mackerel chutney. This is something people have never, ever tasted in their lives. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing. What I've done with this, I've combined East and West and created such a lovely, lovely dish. Onions, very important in Bangladeshi cooking. A lot of things are cooked with onions. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the mustard leaves. And then I'm going to add a bit of salt and I'm going to squeeze the bitter juices out. You can smell the mustard flavour and juices coming out now. I'm going to start deboning the fish. So here is the mackerel. Good thing with mackerel is it doesn't have a lot of bones. So I'm going to cook this dish with mustard oil, and then I'm going to add some mustard seeds. I'm going to add the garlic, which will be nice. I'm going to let that brown for a few minutes. I'm going to add the bay leaf. I want to get in some green chilies. And then I'm adding the onions. About a teaspoon of salt. The oil that came off the fish, I'm going to add it to the pan because that will just add to the flavour. There it goes. In terms of spices, I'm going to use turmeric, paprika, and in terms of chili powder, about half a teaspoon. That's it. Wow, that's nice and spicy, wow. So, this is a mackerel, grilled mackerel's gone in. There you go. Maya's my #1 helper. Wow, I think it's gonna taste better because you stirred it, isn't it? Add the mustard leaves. That's done now. It's lovely, it's fresh, it's nutritious, it's good for you. Ready to serve, ready to eat, ready to enjoy.
So that's Aftab Rahman's Grandma Meraz's lei fata chutney served with rice. Now to find out about the origins of this dish.
So Aftab,
Yes.
tell me about the story of this dish.
Well, firstly, I need to take you back to Bangladesh, is where I was born, back in 1970, and grew up in a big family. My dad and his 2 brothers lived with my grandma, Meraz Bibi, so there was 3 households in one kind of area, so there was about 20 children. My grandmother was this great lady, you know, she kind of commanded everything. My granddad passed away before I was born, so she was, you know, the queen.
Tell me about the memory when you were a little boy, going to your grandmother and smell the dish for the first time or tasted this dish. I mean, what do you remember?
She had a warmth about her, you know, she had all that other quality, but you could smell the fish. You could smell the embers of the fish because it was cooked with that oil, so it was slightly charred, so you could smell the char. So you knew that fish was being prepared when you could smell the char and so on. So that was good, so you knew that's what you're having for dinner. This is an ancient Bangladeshi dish. It's been in my family for 4, 5, 6 generations, and we still prepare it in the same way that we would in Bangladesh. So it represents East and West, it represents Bangladesh, it represents England. So it's great, you know, and my daughters love it, Maya, Leia, and they love it, my wife loves it, so it's great. I also teach my daughter, she's great, Maya. She'll come in the kitchen and say, Daddy, Daddy, can I help? And she chops the onions and tomatoes and so on. So, you know, it's something that I want to continue along, and hopefully she'll teach it to her children one day. So, yeah.
Lunchtime service is fast approaching, but Aftab is off to a confident start.
Of course, I'm a master chef.
He's right at home in a professional kitchen and is sure that the simplicity of his dish will allow the natural flavours to shine through and impress the diners.
It's really nice to be in this kitchen. All I've done is season the fish. I'm going to add a bit of turmeric in a minute, which will add a bit of colour, and it'll be nice when it cooks up.
Carl is also checking on the colour and appearance of his dish.
I'm just taking out the excess water. And as you can see, the water's taken on the colour of the peas.
And it seems that Carl's dish will be more than just a tasty meal for our diners.
You've got the roughage of the peas, you've got the carbohydrates of the rice, and then you've got the spices, so it's good on the tongue, and it's good in the belly.
As time ticks on and lunchtime looms, Marjorie is starting to get a little nervous.
I'm full of trepidation because this is a dish that I cook by eye. It's really going to be quite tricky, I think, this morning. It looks the right colour at the minute, but that's because I've only just put everything in there together.
Next, it's time to get ready for service. The going is about to get tough. But will my home cooks get going? Well, let's find out after the break.
Coming up, one cook gets cocky with his curry.
It's because my food is so damn popular, not my fault.
And Gino has high hopes for his 3 home cooks.
They're gonna become professional chefs by the time I finish with them. Welcome back to There's No Taste Like Home, where today I'm in Birmingham, in the heart of the Midlands. Very soon, this beautiful restaurant is going to be filled with the aroma of home cooking. Every seat in the house is going to be filled with paying diners, all eager to try the finest food. And right now, my home cooks are deep in the depths of the kitchen, perfecting their dish and keeping their family heritage alive. So before lunchtime, let's remind ourselves what's on the menu today.
Carl Douglas is making Mum Jessie's rice and peas and chicken served with salad. This recipe is a national treasure of Jamaica.
On a Sunday, you'd have your chicken, rice and peas, and normally there'd be a pudding for the, the only time in the week there'd be a pudding as well. So it sort of gets that feeling across that, you can have a nice, tasty meal. There's something, a little bit special, about rice and peas and chicken.
Marjorie Jevons is making Grandma Anna Kazia's grauty dick served with homemade bread, a traditional stew that boasts ingredients used for thousands of years.
It's a dish, really, that's something that's come through as a black country tradition. Certainly when my grandmother made it in the early 1900s, and then my mother then followed through, and then I have over the past few years.
And Aftab Rahman is cooking Grandma Meraz's lay fata chutney, or mackerel curry served with rice, a dish that's travelled a long way to be here.
It's a traditional dish that comes from Bangladesh, but I've adapted it for the UK, and it's lovely. You'll really enjoy it.
It's almost lunchtime, and the waiting staff are putting the final touches to the restaurant to welcome the diners. Back in the kitchen, it's a hive of activity as our 3 home cooks prepare food to serve up to 50 paying customers. So how are they coping?
I'm getting on great. The time is running. It's amazing that time doesn't stand still for any man. But we'll get there. So I'm just going to get the seeds out of this Scotch bonnet. And the one thing to remember, once you've touched this, do not touch any delicate part of your body for the rest of the month, or you'll be in for a surprise.
I'm stirring this now and I'm getting some really lovely aromas coming through from it. And actually, as I'm smelling it, what it actually reminds me of is bonfire night. So I know that this is just right.
No pressure yet. No problem. Because, I'm confident I'm going to win, and the food's going to taste nice, and it's going to be fresh, spicy, zingy. Everything's going to be good. Cool.
The morning's preparation is nearly over, and soon it will be time for lunch. Already hungry diners are enjoying an aperitif on the terrace, keen to try the 3 historical dishes.
Okay, so it's very important now that I see the final dish the way you're going to present it to the diners, okay? I have to see what it's going to look like, and I have to taste it, because I need to make sure that everything is perfect. I know that your dish is going to be amazing, but remember, we are in a restaurant here. These people are going to pay good money for your dish, so it's going to have to be absolutely spot on.
No problem.
Okay?
Time is up for the cooks, as whether they're ready or not, this restaurant is open for business. As head chef, this is Gino's chance to make any last-minute alterations to ensure that the dishes are not only cooked to perfection, but also beautifully presented. First up to be tasted today is Carl Douglas's Mum Jessie's rice and peas and chicken served with salad.
Okay, first of all, I'm going into the rice. I like the fact that Carl is actually serving chicken on the bone. And the fact that the bones is there, I think that there is also an activity to do it with your hands, so it makes really this dish really sexy, I like it.
Next is Marjorie Jevons with her Grandma Anna Kazia's grauty dick served with homemade bread.
The hots is very It's very different. Nice and al dente, although at the same time al dente, but with a little bit of chewing going around, which is great. The meat is very soft and I like that. The only problem that I have with this is seasoning. Marge, can you come here for a sec? Let me tell you something. This dish is really good, okay? It's a really good dish. The consistency is great.
Yeah.
The only tip I can give you here, when you prepare food, you must season food well. And the way to do it, especially when you prepare a dish like this one that has been on fire for a long time, is never season at the beginning, but always season at the end. Because if you season at the beginning, all the juices, they're gonna reduce, and you may run into the problem that is gonna be very salty.
Yeah.
Okay? So what I want you to do, go back to your pot, season it well, and the job is done, and congratulations.
And finally, Gino will taste Aftab Rahman's Grandma Meraz's lei fata chutney, or mackerel curry served with rice.
The first thing you really get, the smell of all the spices and the mackerel and the onions and the parsley, everything, really, you can smell everything absolutely beautifully. I like this. I was expecting something that was wetter. I was expecting something that would have been heavier, considering that mackerel is quite an oily fish, but it works really well.
By the end of lunch service, Gino will award one dish the honour of being on this restaurant's menu for a month. His decision will look at three main criteria: cost of ingredients, preparation time in the kitchen, and the reaction of the diners.
I'm quite looking forward to being behind this side of the counter and seeing what the customers think of the dish.
With only moments until Gino signals the start of service, he has a last-minute check that all three cooks are ready to go.
So, Carl, everything okay?
Yes, fine, thank you, Gino.
You're going to be ready for service?
I'm ready.
You got everything under control?
Everything's under control, sir.
Chicken raise.
Chicken's ready, rice is ready, gravy's ready, salad's ready, everything's ready.
So, Marge, how are we doing here?
This is looking good, and it's ready to go. Yeah.
Ready to go? Have you seasoned the way I asked you to?
I have, and it's much, much better now, I think.
Much better.
Yeah.
After, how things are going here?
Good, good. I'm ready to rock and roll.
You're going to have everything ready for service?
Everything done. Everything done.
Ready to go?
And win.
And win.
Of course.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Satisfied with the dishes, Gino allows ordering to begin.
I decided to order the rice and peas and chicken because it's a very old recipe. It looks really scrummy.
Well, I'm going to order groti dip. And the reason is I've heard about it, I know nothing about it, but the West Bromwich Albion football fancy is called a groti dip. So that's why I'm going to order that.
I myself, I'm a very big fish eater, seafood eater, so I'm going for the mackerel curry.
I'm quite happy to pay 30 quid and stay here till 8 o'clock and have all three of them.
Now, remember, service is going to start. It's very important, whenever I shout your dish, that I know that you got it. So when I shout your dish, the answer back is yes, chef.
Yes,
okay?
chef.
Very important, because I'm going to have to coordinate all your dishes on one table, and that is not going to be easy. So you need to communicate to me, okay? The more you talk to me, and the better I can coordinate your dish. Okay, so I'm doing this one for you. It's going to be absolutely manic, believe you me. So back to your station, make sure everything is clean, make sure you have all the utensils, and let's enjoy. Okay? Come on, let's enjoy, guys.
Okay, ready to order? What can I get you?
I have Mum Jessie's rice and peas and chicken, please.
I'm going to go for the mackerel curry, please.
I'd like the groti dip, please.
Okay, guys, the first orders are coming through. 1 chicken.
Yes, chef.
1 curry. Yeah?
Yes.
2 more chicken. 1 more curry.
Yes, chef.
Okay, I need 1 groti, please.
Chef.
4 curries.
Yes, chef.
How long for the 2 chicken?
15 seconds, chef.
Okay, 1 more chicken, 1 more curry, 1 groti, please.
Yes, chef.
Guys, talk to me.
Yes, chef.
1 more chicken, 1 more curry. How long for the curry?
10 seconds, chef.
Let's not rush. Let's do the job properly, yeah? Okay?
Sorry, chef.
Service. Very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice, guys. Please carry on like this. They look beautiful, the dishes. Come on, 1 chicken, 1 curry.
Gino is impressed with the cook's efforts, but what do the diners think?
Looks fantastic, very edible. Compliments to the chef.
I've ordered the mackerel curry. I think the presentation's brilliant. Can't wait to try it.
Really mine looks quite Moroccan. Yeah.
Back in the kitchen, things are hotting up.
It's a bit frantic, a bit rushed.
Boom, boom, that's what it's like. I'm gonna win.
Aftab is on fire, and so are his plates.
Aftab, your plates are impossible to touch.
Okay,
touch
sure.
this. No, not with a cloth.
Yeah,
How do you expect a customer to touch that?
It's true, chef.
Yeah, so take it out and do it again, please.
Okay,
because we don't want to hurt anybody.
I thought a hot plate's good, but chef has his standards and I've got to work to them.
Gino's standards stretch to Marjorie's corner, where she's having the opposite problem to Aftab.
The plate is cold, right? If this one is much, if this is cold, what's going to happen? As soon as you put this one in, by the time that it gets down there, it's going to come back and say it's cold. So it's very important whenever you serve a dish like this one, the plate has to be hot.
Okay.
Very hot. So then it keeps the heat into the stew. Yeah?
Okay.
Thank
Lovely.
you.
Thanks very much.
And in the nick of time, Gino stops Carl from serving a far from satisfactory meal.
Carl?
Yes, chef.
Come here.
Sorry, chef.
Su boni.
Okay, yes.
All right, bring me something else. Bring me
no
one
problem.
more. Put a bit of gravy and do it quickly.
Fresh plate, chef, yeah?
Huh?
Fresh plate?
Well, give me a nice piece. I can't send soup bones of
sorry,
chicken when people are actually paying. Put it on top here. Yeah, and put some of the gravy on top.
No problem, chef.
That's it.
Thank you, chef.
Fantastico, fantastico.
Gino is keeping the cooks on track, but have the diners noticed the kitchen drama?
Chicken it's lovely, very well cooked, very well seasoned. The rice is really nice, very, very nice. Nice flavour to it, so it's lovely.
I've had the roti dip, and these are from the Black Country. I was interested to see how it tasted compared to what my mum used to do, and it's really very nice.
I think the spice and the texture and the mackerel, the strong taste, was really exceptional. I think it was absolutely lovely. Really, really enjoyed it. Something a little bit left field and really great.
I need 1 chicken, I need 1 roti.
Okay.
How long for 1 chicken? Bring me 1 chicken.
1 chicken coming up straight away now, chef.
Now, 1 chicken. It's getting really hot in here, but my cooks are doing really well, but we still have a long way to go. Join me after the break, because I'm gonna have to make the decision of which of these dishes they're gonna be on this restaurant menu for 1 month. Guys, can I have 3 curries and 3 groti? Come on.
Coming up.
The winner of today's There's No Taste Like Home is...
Chef Gino D'Acampo is on a mission to prove there's no taste like home.
Hey, welcome to a professional kitchen.
He's found 3 home cooks with 3 historic family recipes.
Yes, chef.
Together, they've taken over a restaurant in Birmingham.
They're gonna become professional chef by the time I finish with them.
The restaurant is full, with orders coming through thick and fast, so the 3 home cooks have had to work hard to keep up. Gino is delighted. All 3 cooks are delivering like professional chefs.
Look at my boys. Look at my boys. Look at that. Do you remember the other order?
Is it 1 more?
1 more, 2 more.
Coming, chef.
Marge, these groti, they look absolutely beautiful. Clean, plate is hot, you got it spot on. Where are my curries?
10 seconds, chef.
Come on, guys, push.
Aftab's dish is proving so popular, he's just run out.
I'm done. No more left.
He's also committed a kitchen cardinal sin by not keeping Gino informed.
Get your ticket, go to table number 210. Apologize that you're running out of curry, you didn't say anything to anybody.
Ever confident Aftab isn't fazed by Gino's telling off.
1 more chicken.
It's because my food is so damn popular. Not my fault.
I'm a bit annoyed because he should have let me know as the mackerel was going down, so then I could have told the waiters outside to sell another dish on the table.
I'm really, really sorry, yeah. If you like spicy food, I'd go for the chicken. And if you want something hearty, something good down here, I'd go for the groti dick.
Back in the kitchen, it's service as usual.
You got 10 chicken in total.
So 5 plus 5, yeah?
You can do 7 plus 3, or you can do 8 plus 2, or 1 plus 9.
Thank you, chef.
It all makes 10.
Thank you.
that your dishes are too dirty. But look what's happened.
I know. It's a bit hectic, and trying not to get things round the side of the plate so it's dirty is a bit of a nightmare.
Right, we're on 5 here, so I'm trying to get 5 out as quickly and as efficiently as possible.
How long for the chicken?
40 seconds, Chef.
Bring them 2 at a time.
OK, Chef.
Guys?
Yes, Chef.
We're done. Well done, well done. How do you feel?
Excellent, excellent.
How do you feel? How do you feel? Tell me.
Relieved.
Relieved?
Relieved that it's done, but really pleased. I've never done anything like this before. But it's such hard work, and it makes you really appreciate what chefs really do in kitchens, I think.
Would you do it again, Carl?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, what about you?
Yeah.
Karshav, would you do it?
Yeah, I'd do it. I'd cook more this time, though, because my food finished.
At the end of the day, I'm the one who's going to have to make the decision. I'm going to have a chat with the owner of the restaurant. I'm going to have a chat with the chef of the restaurant. And the one I think it fits the menu of the restaurant is going to be on the restaurant. So it could have been a situation where you sold out and everybody loves your dish, but somebody else is going to win. Okay?
Okay, yeah,
so
sounds good.
Keep smiling. Now there is a kitchen that needs to be cleaned. Haha.
Service is finally over and the 3 cooks have done their best, hoping to secure their dish a place on the restaurant's menu for a month. It's now up to the diners and the restaurant's head chef and manager to help Gino make his difficult decision.
It was mackerel, and it was really yummy because you know when you get mackerel in the shops, it's a freeze-fried pack, and then you normally have it raw with a salad. This was obviously really different, so he used mustard seeds and mustard leaves, and it was, yeah, gorgeous.
I live in the Black Country, born and bred, so I went for the grauty dick. I've seen it many times in the past, but never tried it, and I just thought, well, this is the perfect opportunity. And it was really good, really tasty.
I ordered the rice and peas with chicken, and it was very tasty. It was very nice. We all made a point of ordering a different thing so we could all try each menu, and we're glad we did it, because at first it was like 2 and 2, but my rice, it was really tasty, really nice.
Well, the diners were impressed, but which dish will Gino pick? Will it be Carl Douglas and his mum Jessie's rice and peas and chicken served with salad? This recipe is a national treasure of Jamaica.
It's just my way of, saying thanks, Mom, for giving me this wonderful skill. I think she'll be very proud, to know that I've kept up with it and I've embraced it, and I also remember where I got it from.
Or will it be Marjorie Jevons and Grandma Anna Kazia's grauty dick served with homemade bread? A traditional stew whose key ingredients have been used for thousands of years.
5 generations of my family now have eaten this dish, and I'm going to make sure that this dish carries on for the next 5 generations.
Or will it be Aftab Rahman and his grandma Meraz's Leifata chutney or mackerel curry served with rice, a dish that brought a taste of Bangladesh to Britain?
It would represent that the British people are ready to eat authentic Bangladeshi food. So it's taking it up a step now, and if people try it, they'll be blown away. They'll say, wow, this is something different.
Let me to introduce you my 3 home cooks. Come on, guys. So, how do you feel?
Tired.
Tired? I have to say, guys, it was a good day. It was a good day. All 3 of you, as far as concerning me, all 3 winners. You managed to get your dish that has been in your families for hundreds of years in a professional kitchen. In a restaurant, what would you want more? But unfortunately, we can only have 1 winner. So the winner of today's There's No Taste Like Home is... the grotty dick, Marge. Look at that.
Somebody in the kitchen gave me 9 out of 10 for my rice and peas, so I can't ask for more than that. You'll never get 10 out of 10 because it's not as good as your mum's. So yeah, I'm quite happy that I did the best that I could today.
I enjoyed the banter, I enjoyed the cooking, I enjoyed expressing myself in a creative way, so I loved it.
This means absolutely everything, because in fact it shows that with a really strong, simple black country recipe is still important today to people. And I'm hoping that the diners at this restaurant are really going to enjoy this dish over the next month.
Finally, I got a taste of the Midlands. I hope you enjoyed today's show. And of course, congratulations to Marge and Grotty Dick. It was absolutely amazing. The meat was falling apart and the sauce and the oat, one of the best dishes that I've tried lately. Guys, don't forget to join me next time as I continue my journey across the UK to find more home cooks, all eager to prove that there's no taste like home. So if you fancy to try the winning dish yourself, or perhaps you want details of the recipes featured on today's show, go to itv.com/food.